Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Cisco TV. When you look at today's agenda today, it's heavily focused on showing some of the latest of Cisco mobile innovations. And we're particularly pleased here because we have quite a bit of portfolio announcements that we're going to be talking about. We're going to have a panel that's going to talk specifically on what technologies that we're announcing and the relevance of that. The big message is around expanding new business opportunities for the mobile internet. So if you look at today's agenda, I'm joined by a panel of my esteemed colleagues, and some of them that I'll introduce today, right at this point. So if you look at Sailesh Shukla, he's VP and GM of our Software Applications Business Group. And we also have Partho Mishra, who's VP GM of our Access Business Groups. So between the two colleagues, welcome, and just welcome to the session.
Thank you.
So let me introduce and start by saying that the crux of the strategy that Cisco's laid out around the mobile internet has been around solving three major problems as well as opportunities for our service providers. When we look at the first part of the problem statement, it's always been around how you address the spectrum scarcity problem. When you look at what does this mean, it really looks at both how you address coverage and capacity models as mobile internet continues to grow and expand, and coverage and capacity, especially as you get in deeper into particular buildings, as you get deeper in terms of highly dense environments, how you address that and deliver great mobile internet connectivity. The second one is around managing traffic growth. If you look at our VNI projections, we're talking about a 13x growth in between 2012 and 2017. And that type of mobile internet growth is going to require the right economics, the right capacity and scale in the overall transport network. And then the third one is really about monetizing and differentiating services that are really delivered from the cloud. And so much of the innovation that's going to come across is not just about enabling connections, but about enabling experiences. And those experiences are a function of cloud-based services. So what you'll see here and the announcements of today will be touching on two major themes: monetization and optimization. And on the optimization sphere, we're going to talk about a whole slew of software-based portfolio. And on the monetization side, we're going to talk about how these portfolio investments in software and network infrastructure drive new opportunities for our operators. So where are the real opportunities going forward? And if in mobility, one of the interesting elements that are emerging is this idea of data in motion, and this idea that these data in motion creates new business opportunities and experiences. As opposed to data at rest, data in motion gives you the opportunity to look at dynamic shifts in behavior, both in terms of consumers, users, as well as even machines. And so what we see is three discrete opportunities to go after and apply that intelligence. One is in what we recently announced around indoor location technologies, and especially using some of our service provider Wi-Fi portfolio, and now looking at that small cells investments in licensed and unlicensed space to say, how do we go and untap that real-time intelligence that's coming from that domain and apply it into applications that can then deliver contextually relevant experiences. The second is this idea of evolving into new markets that are a function of your broadband connections. Today, mobile operators serve tremendous amount of value in terms of the 4G, 3G services, but increasingly as you go forward, users are very conscious about how they manage data caps and tiered data models. And we think in this space offers a whole new opportunity for premium content companies and application providers to effectively deliver services while maintaining and managing those data models in an effective way for the consumer. The third is around the whole domain of Internet of Everything. This is a market that is about connecting trillions of endpoints and not just billions of subscribers, right? And the economics required to go address that market and using the same platform and infrastructure you're providing to connect users to now connect things. Those are three very discrete and tangible market opportunities that we foresee in the future. So with that in mind, I'm going to invite Salish Shukla, who is our VPGM of the software business group. So Salish, welcome.
Thank you very much, Murali. What I thought I'll do is take a little bit more into depth the concept that you described earlier, which is data in motion.
Yes.
So if you look at the intelligence, the information, and the opportunity, frankly, that sits in the data in motion, we believe it is a veritable gold mine for network operators. One might ask, so how do you actually utilize, how do you harvest this gold mine? So working with a number of different operators around the world, we have come up with a framework and an architecture that allows operators to extract improved network economics from this gold mine. And second, we have come up with the right portfolio that delivers upon that promise. I'll talk about both of those. First, let me talk about the framework and the architecture. What you see on the screen is a triangle chart. It's a triangle chart that has network infrastructure at the bottom, analytics that links into it, and a policy mechanism to drive programmability into the network. And those are, in our view, the three elements that are required in order to harvest that gold mine that I talked about. First and foremost is really smart and intelligent network infrastructure. This infrastructure has to have the right counters, the net flow information, the ability to extract out session, state, flow, subscriber information. And a lot of that information resides in the network today. It hasn't yet been extracted out and utilized. So we believe step one is to have that intelligent network infrastructure all the way from small cell to backhaul to packet core to Wi-Fi access, all the way into the IP core and putting it all together, which is the promise that Cisco has delivered on over the last several years. So step one, extract out and abstract out the right information from the network infrastructure. Step two is to take that and analyze it, correlate it, and drive and derive useful insights. And we believe that over the last several years, the progress that has been made in the world of big data and analytics has evolved to an extent that it is possible to do real-time analytics on the data in motion.
Right.
Yeah? Then the third piece is once you have derived the right kind of insights, link it to a business policy, a network policy, and program the network. And there, Cisco is driving an architecture whereby a common set of constructs can be utilized to drive programmability into the network. Okay? So when you take these three things together in what I would call as a closed loop, and do that in real time, and do that using all the network intelligence and information that's available, then you have an opportunity to completely transform the services and the network economics. And that happens in two ways. First, through the monetization opportunity, whereby through subscriber-specific new services that can be offered, let's say based on indoor location or based on driving premier video, or even things such as sponsored data where data usage can be sponsored by the content owner, right, or by an advertiser, are things that will allow you, the network operator, to actually drive additional monetization opportunities. Coupled with that is the optimization, right? Across the network infrastructure, you need to be able to reduce the OpEx and reduce the CapEx, whether it is in access, whether it is in backhaul, whether it's in the packet core, whether it's in the IP core. And that can be done, again, through the utilization of the very, very specific network analytics information and driving the policy into the network that I have proposed as part of this closed-loop architecture. Monetization and optimization together will transform the network economics.
So, Salish, what you just described seems to be a relationship that you're establishing between intelligent network-based infrastructure and a series of software-based assets and capabilities. Is that a fair description?
You have absolutely said that correctly. Obviously, Cisco is a leader in network infrastructure. And over the last 25 years, we have invested heavily in building out state-of-the-art, the world's most widely deployed network infrastructure for IP, for packet core, for backhaul, for Wi-Fi, for small cell, etc. Now, what we are saying is that in order to drive the changes in economics, you also need the software assets and the software technology that allows the creation of an intelligent layer on top of that infrastructure.
Right.
And that's what Cisco has invested heavily in. And I'm really pleased to inform the broader industry that through a combination of build, buy, and partner, we are in a position today to announce not only the architectural construct that I've talked about here, but also the portfolio to deliver upon that. Okay? So let me describe what that is. So we are very pleased. We want to introduce the new software-based product suite, the portfolio suite that we are calling as Cisco Quantum. Okay? Cisco Quantum is a broad term representing all of the software and applications assets that allow us to fulfill the architectural framework that I've described to you earlier. We have done this through a combination of internal organic development, through a number of partnerships that we have struck, as well as several acquisitions that we have done in the last 4 months. In fact, you're seeing on the right side there 4 acquisitions that we have done, including BroadHop, ThinkSmart, IntuCell, which has been announced, not yet closed, and Cariden. We are very, very pleased. And with those 4 acquisitions combined with the organic development, here are examples of actual software technologies and suites that we are bringing to market now. The first one on top is internally developed, which we call as the Network Abstraction Suite, which will allow you as a network operator to extract and harvest network intelligence. Okay? We'll talk more about each one of these over the next 30 to 60 days. Second is the Quantum Policy Suite, which is based on the BroadHop acquisition, which allows us to program the network to drive personalized user experiences. The third one is, it's a combination of build, buy, and partner, including the ThinkSmart technology, as well as some partner technologies that we're bringing, as well as some internal development. All of that puts together allows us to use big data, real-time network analytics, including location, to be a part of what you can use to correlate, extract, and drive insights. The fourth is what we have recently announced with the acquisition of the intent to acquire IntuCell. Gives us an opportunity to now enable you to optimize your RAN infrastructure. RAN infrastructure is an area where you make tremendous amount of investments, and as Wi-Fi, small cell, femto, pico, 3G, 4G, different types of technologies appear in the RAN, you have what are known as heterogeneous networks. Optimizing heterogeneous networks requires the use of an intelligent software layer. That intelligent software layer is what is part of the RAN optimization suite. And then finally, we have also we are bringing to market what we call as the wide area network orchestration suite, which is, think of it as a set of technologies that allow you to very, very efficiently utilize the IP MPLS networks. And to utilize a knowledge of network topology and network traffic to drive the right kind of orchestration in IP MPLS networks, again improving the network economics. So when you put these things together, we believe we have not only the architecture and vision, but also now the portfolio to be able to meet your needs around changing the economics completely. So Murali, if you don't mind, I'll give you an example.
Please.
Okay. So let's look at the example of how all of these things can come together to create what I'm calling as the power of the platform. You see 3 iPhones here, or 3 devices. On the left side is a gold customer. In the middle is a silver customer. On the right side is a bronze customer. Okay. Clearly, we want to make sure that the right network assets and resources are utilized in order to deliver the best possible performance for the gold user. Okay. So we have this scenario let us say there is congestion in the RAN,
Right.
in the radio access network. Now, the RAN, so the RAN optimization software, the WAN orchestration software, the policy software, and the analytics all come together and say, well, this is a gold user.
Right.
He or she is doing a telepresence on their corporate network.
Right.
We cannot possibly afford to create a disturbance. So for this user, right away the messages, we are seeing some congestion in the radio access network, but we are changing the parameters so that nothing will change for you in your telepresence session. It continues uninterrupted at high bandwidth, high density, in a high def fashion. Second, I'll take the extreme example. It's a bronze user, really using it in a best effort fashion. We say, well, thank you very much, but you will see some congestion. So we are going to reduce your the available bandwidth, and you might see some reduced definition. But the usage continues, everything goes on. For the silver, it becomes very interesting. Now you have an opportunity to start to link all these things together by saying, well, guess what? There is network congestion, but we are going to make you an offer. If you're ready to use the award points or dollars, or currency, you can improve your the user experience for the next 1 hour, and that costs 10 points, Or you can say that, are you willing to accept an advertisement?
So this is the sponsored data.
This is the sponsored data model, right? So now you see the richness of the type of capabilities and offers that can be made, across the entire user base in a personalized fashion, in closed loop, in real time, using all the network intelligence.
And that's the point, that it's real time and it's dynamic. It's not a pre-subscribed kind of a scenario. It's happening in real time for the particular congestion, particular environment of the application, and the policy that the user might have.
That's exactly right.
So thank you, Sailesh. That was excellent. I wanted to make that transition at this point from the innovation that Sailesh just mentioned in terms of our software portfolio and the Cisco Quantum introduction, to now introduce Partho. Partho, welcome from Bangalore. I appreciate you joining us. This is a really important point. When you think about the investments that we just made in the software side, Sailesh talked heavily about the relationship between software and the network infrastructure. You guys have been on a momentum with the small cells and what you guys have been doing, both in backhaul as well as the unlicensed space. Tell us more about what you're announcing here and the relevance of it as in that relationship between the infrastructure and the software domain.
Sure thing, Murali. So last year, what we did at Mobile World Congress was we redefined small cell with the introduction of our service provider Wi-Fi portfolio. And in the process of doing so, we assumed leadership and demonstrated a very unique way of bringing to bear a traditionally enterprise technology to solve service provider problems. What we are doing this year is adding to the portfolio. And in the way in which we are adding to the portfolio, we are leveraging our expertise and our deployment strengths in 3 critical areas. First, with service provider Wi-Fi. Cisco has great strengths in Wi-Fi. However, what we've done in the last 1.5 years is demonstrated that it's possible to build large Wi-Fi service provider networks. And in the process, we've mastered, I should say, how to build these large complex SP Wi-Fi networks and scale them to very large sizes and very large number of users. Second, in the area of small cell, a lot of people may be unfamiliar with the fact that we, Cisco, have shipped the largest number of small cell platforms among any vendor in this area. And essentially what we've done in that area is very unique. What we've done is we have developed some very unique technology that allows these small cell platforms to be deployed and configured and provisioned without expensive truck rolls and without requiring trained technicians. So this is a very unique technology that we've developed, and we will bring it to bear in some of the new products. But what we've done is we've taken that technology and we've taken Metro Ethernet technology and we've embedded it to our cell site routers. These cell site routers are being deployed and being used to facilitate the provision of the providing of data services for 3G and 4G networks on an unprecedented scale as service providers around the world are building out their networks. So what we are announcing in the next couple of weeks are 3 new products that build on this technology base that we already have. Number 1, we are introducing a 3G small cell module. This small cell module essentially plugs into an existing Cisco AeroNet 3600 access point product. And it's been designed in a way that allows us to leverage the unique modular architecture of the AeroNet product. And for our service provider customers, essentially, it allows them to leverage the footprint that they already have where they've deployed Wi-Fi and they need to extend licensed radio coverage in some of those areas. All they need to do is pop in a module and enable some software remotely, and they're off and running. The second product that we are introducing, it's also a 3G product, is a standalone small cell platform. Now, the good news about this platform is that it's designed and tested so that it connects into the rest of the Cisco Smart Mobile Aware Network. Shailesh talked a little bit about some of the capabilities that we bring to bear with our advanced planning technologies, our SON capabilities with Intucell. Well, guess what? All that software will configure the 3G small cell and make it operate in a way that allows it to play nice with macro RAN products that are in the same vicinity. The third product that we are introducing is called the ASR 901S. This is a product that is a scaled down version of our traditional cell site router product. It's scaled down, however, in terms of raw capabilities in throughput, in the number of users that can be handled. It's equally powerful as a 901. However, it's ruggedized, and therefore it can be deployed in any location in which you might normally install a small cell. That could be a lamppost, it could be a pole top, it could be the wall of a building, it could even be the ceiling of of your enterprise, where traditionally you would be used to seeing a Wi-Fi access point. And the idea here is that what we're trying to do is we are trying to make sure that all the benefits of IP, MPLS, and the services that ride on top of them, including some of the unique capabilities that we've built with 1588 and IP-based timing, are leverageable for small cell deployments that happen on a large scale. Now, clearly, what these products allow our customers to do, building on the existing technology that we already have, is to be able to have a very scalable solution that allows them to take traffic that is today running on very congested macro RAN networks and to offload it in a very cost-effective way onto this alternate access network. The second benefit that we see of some of the things that we are doing is that it provides some very unique capabilities, not just for network optimization, but also for network, for monetizing the service that's being provided. So let me segue and talk to you about a couple of success stories. Over the past couple of years, we have worked with a very large number of customers and enabled them to deploy small cell technologies in their networks. But the 3 that I've chosen to illustrate our successes are representative of, number 1, innovative business models, number 2, unique ways of extending what would be a traditional access networking model, and 3, offering services to a customer which are not feasible until this technology became available. So number 1, with O2, they have figured out a model in which they offer free Wi-Fi service. The customers don't have to pay for it. However, what O2 has is a very clever way of mining data, figuring out what customers are doing on their network, and then providing that information to retailers. Retailers, in turn, will take that information and use that to serve up capabilities, for example, offers to their customers that they can use, that the customers can then use for services that they wish to buy. So it's win-win all around in the sense that O2 has found a way to tap into additional revenue. The retailers are benefiting from finding a new way to reach out to their customers and getting additional revenue. And finally, from a customer perspective, not only are they getting free service when they need to access the network, but they're also getting additional capabilities that were not available before. The second example that I want to provide is a traditional transport example of providing universal access. Virgin Media in London built a network working with us that offers what we call an elastic Wi-Fi service, where essentially you can get connectivity anywhere in the London Underground. Very challenging environment from a radio propagation perspective, and they did it at a very challenging time, right slap bang in the middle of the London Olympics. But what has happened is that the service has been so successful in enabling people to stay connected no matter what they are doing, whether they are just commuting back and forth or if they're tourists in London, that it's become something that is now taken for granted by London commuters and tourists alike. And then I want to wrap up by talking about another very unique example with AT&T, where they have partnered with us to enable not just network access in the form of 3G, 4G, and Wi-Fi, but more importantly, using some of the unique technologies that are embedded in our products. They have enabled indoor location-based services. So we have some very unique technologies with our Wi-Fi access point that allow fairly precise location in building using triangulation technologies. Now, what has been demonstrated is the ability then to link that back as part of a museum exhibit to offer visitors to the museum the ability to do multimedia displays, to be able to make use of additional services that would not be possible in a traditional museum setting. So again, it's kind of win-win all around. The customer is getting something above and beyond what they're used to. The service provider is being able to enable new capabilities and services that potentially they could monetize in the future. So just to sum it all up, our overall investment in the area of small cell has been very, very, very powerful in demonstrating that coupled with a smart, mobile, intelligent network, that a service provider can not just offer universal access, but that they can do so with the appropriate optimization so that it's cost effective for them to build out this network, and more importantly, to offer value-added services that allow them to realize additional revenue from the customers that are making use of the network.
So Partha, thank you.
Really?
Thank you, Partha. That was fantastic. So when you look at what Partha just described, there's a tremendous amount of momentum that we've seen in the small cell space, right? But what's really interesting is you're now adding a licensed component to the very successful unlicensed portfolio. And by adding licensed and unlicensed technologies, I think you really are executing to the vision that you set forth in terms of what the future of small cells would do to address coverage capacity models, right, and those challenges. But I think the linkage that I find really interesting, Partha and Saleesh, is that you can now use some of the software-based innovations, especially with self-organizing networks, SON technology, or some of the intelligence in the cloud with policy and analytics to be applied in ways that are extended all the way down to the access to the, and ultimately to the consumer, the way you described, Partha. So I think in that sense, there's innovation that's happening to tie the investments in the network infrastructure to the software. But importantly, I want to kind of just take a moment to summarize what I think is the set of announcements that we're making. And this is quite a portfolio that we're unveiling today. And Saleesh, you did a great job in terms of summarizing what some of the software assets, especially with Cisco Quantum and the brand that we're introducing there. So tremendous amount of investments there around WAN orchestration, RAN optimization, policy, analytics. You guys have brought out the big guns here, so this is pretty cool. And of course, on the transport side, there's continued investments in innovation, especially in terms of some portfolio around ANDSF, doing the intelligent handoff between 3G, 4G, and Wi-Fi, and how that is done. Security, how we manage security in the space, trusted and untrusted, right? And then, of course, in the access, as Partho just walked us through, the idea of complementing our very successful, the unlicensed portfolio with licensed assets, as well as solving the bottleneck of traffic in the backhaul with the 901S introduction. So this is exactly, I think, our vision and our strategy has been to address these particular pain points and opportunities. And I think with the data in motion construct, we think there's a unique opportunity for service providers to come around and look at this as a space that is untapped, and as you said it, a veritable gold mine to get and bring that out in real time and apply real-time decisions associated to it to create services. So in summary, let me just kind of take this back, step back here. A lot of the strategy that we've been implementing is around the growth of the mobile internet. And as mobile internet continues to grow, and we've seen the latest visual networking index studies talk about 13x growth between 2012 and 2017, this train is going pretty full throttle. And some of the key areas of investments we started out with was the packet core. We have now the #1 position in the Eval packet core. In our backhaul portfolio, Partho, we have the #1 position in IP backhaul. If you look at our service provider Wi-Fi business, we have the #1 position in service provider Wi-Fi. And of course in femtos, similar positioning. And so if you look at that and you wrap it around this architectural layer that says, here's a whole new level of intelligence around software with Cisco Quantum, and you tie that back to this great network-based intelligence that's coming from the infrastructure, we think the next generation internet, and especially this elastic architecture, really creates opportunities for our service providers. So with that, I want to thank the panel. Salish, thank you very much for joining us. And Partho from Bangalore, thank you for really joining us and supporting. And I want to say thank you to the crew that has been with us. So thank you again, everyone, and good day.